Hey, so today I'm going to be talking about the link between gut health and mental health. There is thankfully a lot of research now showing more scientific studies that are proving that our digestive system is innately linked to how we feel. One of the reasons for that is the fact that serotonin and dopamine, so they're both our feel-good hormones. 90% of serotonin and 50% of our dopamine are created in the gut. It's known as its own second brain, the gut. It basically, the entire gut starts from your mouth through to the other end. That is the entire gut system known as your microbiome. And when our gut health is off, it has incredible ramifications, negative ramifications for the rest of our health. There are studies pointing to linking Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease and dementia to our gut health now. Obviously things like irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory disease, autoimmune diseases. We're seeing more and more of it being, they're establishing more and more links between gut health and these chronic illnesses. If you think many moons back, a couple of generations back, kids played in the dirt. They automatically got different types of bacteria in their systems through either looking after animals or tending vegetables or just playing around in the mud. We've become such a society of spray aerosol, clean everything, bleach everything. There's a lot more cesarean sections these days. When we're spraying things in our homes, and when we're being super clean, some of that bacteria we are not allowing to get into our body. Now, I understand there is some bacteria which is bad for us, but a lot of it helps to create our microbiome. It helps to give us a healthy gut system. And we're predominantly made of bacteria. I think there's only about 10% of us that is actually human. The rest of it is all bacteria. And in our gut, we have healthy bacteria and we have not so healthy bacteria. Just going back to the birthing situation with the prevalence nowadays of elective cesareans. Obviously, if it's an emergency cesarean, you need to have it. There's no choice. The baby's life is absolutely paramount, as is the mother's. But when the baby does not have a vaginal birth, there are so many studies now pointing to the fact that the babies don't get washed with the organisms, the microbiome of the vagina, which helps to create the healthy gut system of the baby. Same with colostrum, breastfeeding. That first milk that you give a newborn baby, if you're able to breastfeed, is just so important, because again, you're setting the child up for success because it's got that healthy bacteria in its gut. So gut health is incredibly important. I'm not going to go into the scientific side of it too much because I don't think it's absolutely necessary. If you want to dive even deeper into the link between gut health and mental health, send me a message, because I've got an amazing link to this YouTube video. It's about an hour long. It's a lecture. It's absolutely phenomenal. It talks about fecal transplants. Yes, I know that sounds pretty disgusting, but sometimes the balance of healthy and not so healthy bacteria in our gut is so bad, is so out of sync, that it requires something like a fecal transplant in order to get the gut biome back into some kind of normal, healthy working. Also, with the prevalence of antibiotics these days, they nuke all sorts of bacteria. They nuke the good and the bad. They strip you out. So when you've had a course of antibiotics, it's really important that you then make sure you're focusing on eating probiotics and prebiotics, because prebiotics feed probiotics. So if you eat a diet with a lot of vegetables in it, that's a natural source of prebiotics. Essentially, it's the fibre that the healthy bacteria feed off of. But so when you've had antibiotics, make sure you're taking multidophalus, lactobacillus, those sorts of things. Some probiotics will not survive the trip through the digestive tract. Check just inform yourself on that. I take a daily probiotic. I know it works. It's one of the safe ones. It is lactobacillus. That survives the trip through the digestive tract. But there are a lot out there that you pay a lot for that actually don't survive that trip. So if you have a probiotic, do a bit of research on it to make sure it's one of those that is actually, it does actually do what it says it's going to do on the pot. So just going back to the link with mental health. So as I mentioned earlier, serotonin, 90% of our serotonin and 50% of our dopamine gets created in the gut, which is really, really important for us to understand because those are our feel-good hormones. So if your gut health is off, there's such a tight link between poor gut health and depression and anxiety. And it makes logical sense because if you're not getting that preponderance of feel-good hormones, if you're not creating them sufficiently, then naturally you're going to feel deflated, you're going to feel low, anxiety, depression, all that kind of stuff. Also, as we go through the menopause, estrogen levels also have a negative impact on our ability to create serotonin. So that might explain some of the links between suddenly feeling anxious during menopause. It happened to me. I'm a very positive person, and I found myself at times particularly in the early hours, waking up and just feeling there was something really bad, and I didn't know what it was. I just had this sense of anxiety, and all I can put it down to is the fact that it was the menopause causing that. My falling estrogen levels were meaning that my serotonin levels were falling, and I just took the necessary appropriate measures in order to make sure that I was as anxious free as possible. And that was lifestyle change. That was making sure I exercise. It was making sure I took time out for myself, little micro moments, I call them, throughout the day, and also giving myself a little bit of grace as I like to call it surf this menopause wave. Now, there are certain foods that are the precursor to serotonin. So that means that there are certain foods that help us release serotonin, and those foods contain something called L-tryptophan. Now, L-tryptophan is found in certain foods such as turkey, eggs, coriander, chocolate, oysters, seeds, nuts, fatty fish, soya, so tofu, that sort of thing. I never can say that word. I don't know. Those soya bean things. A range of different foods. Bananas are high in L-tryptophan, which will help you release serotonin. The other important thing to remember is serotonin is the precursor for melatonin. Melatonin helps us sleep. So serotonin is our feel-good hormone, melatonin is our sleepy hormone. And when our serotonin levels are low, it automatically means that our melatonin levels are also low. So as well as feeling a bit low and anxious and depressed, you're also not sleeping so well. So it sets up this vicious circle. And that all goes back down to our gut health. So when you can get your gut health on point, you are going to start to feel better. You'll probably have more energy. You'll be more productive. You'll have clearer thought processes, but you'll also be able to sleep better. Now, I've recently gone teetotal, and I know, everybody says that when you stop drinking alcohol, it does help you sleep better. I absolutely agree with that. But also when you're drinking alcohol, I'm not a binge drinker, but I'm one of those people that loves 2 or 3 glasses a night, normally 2, but it's easy to creep up to 3 glasses a night. And when you think about the alcohol and the sugar, it's termed as a carb, it does have a negative impact on your sleep. And since I've been teetotal, I've been sleeping like a ninja, literally, and I'm allowing myself to do it. I like to get up really early in the morning, start the day off super early, be really productive and get a couple of hours out before everybody else wakes up. I'm not doing that at the moment. I'm just letting myself sleep, because I think if my body needs to sleep, then I'm going to allow it to sleep. But I'm not having my micro moments with the day. I do have a daily walk out in nature, unless it's absolutely thundering it down. But, you know, beyond that, I make sure I do get outside every single day into nature, because again, that's so important for your mental health. So, you know, gut health with its link to mental health indicates that yes, food is incredibly important for us, but we need to support how we live in order to make the bread rise, as it were. It's a recipe for success. Just doing one thing is not going to be sufficient. Just eating healthy is, of course, going to help you create more serotonin. It's going to help you create more melatonin to sleep better. But you also do need those lifestyle changes as well to help you deal with stress, because stress is always around us. We have cortisol in our bodies, which has a big anti-inflammatory purpose. But of course, when we're under constant stress, that, you know, it loses the effect of being anti-inflammatory and can cause autoimmune systems and long-term chronic inflammation. So it is about getting that right balance. So things that you can do: make sure you move your body every day. Ideally exercise. If you're menopausal, if you're midlife, you are going to have to exercise. Otherwise, you will struggle with weakening bones, softening bones, osteoporosis, brittle bones, osteopenia, soft bones. As we go through the menopause, obviously our estrogen levels drop, but also our human growth hormone does as well, which has a negative impact on how our skin looks, on the strength of our bones and our muscles and our ability to rejuvenate. So it's really, really important that you are exercising regularly. You may not like it. I'm not the biggest fan of working out, but I do it every day because I know how important it is for me, or I do it most days. Get your nutrition on point. So reduce processed foods, reduce refined carbs, reduce sugars. I know it's really nice to have a slice of cake. I had a slice of cake this afternoon, just a little one, lemon drizzle cake. And it's not about cutting everything out, but it's about being mindful of what you eat and have it as a treat. So, you know, that slice of cake for me was a treat. That's the only sort of naughty thing I've had today, and it's the only naughty thing I'll have for probably a few days. But just be mindful that it's a treat and it doesn't become a regular thing. Take micro moments. So if you're not able to either, you know, have 10 minutes, 15 minutes of meditation in the morning or the evening, or both, make sure that when you're just sitting on the loo, do some deep breathing. Deep breathing is incredibly beneficial for our entire body, because it helps stimulate lymph through the system, which helps to detoxify us, helps to relax us because it stimulates the vagus nerve, which helps us to relax. It floods our body with nutrients and oxygen. And so few of us breathe properly. We're all up here in our chest. Belly breathe. Learn how to belly breathe. It's strange when you first get used to doing it, because we're all so used to like trying to hold our bellies in and breathe shallowly. Deep belly breathing is so important for your overall well-being, and it will make you feel better. So you've got your movement, you've got your food, you've got your deep breathing. Your sleep is naturally going to improve, but prioritize your sleep. Set yourself up for success. That might mean turning the television off when you're in the middle of a film. Watch the rest of it the next night. Cool, we've all got catch up. Just stop it and then go to sleep. Get to sleep earlier. Make sure you sleep in a darkened area. Make sure that the stuff that you are watching isn't super stimulating, and let the lights dim the lights, because that allows our body to naturally get ready for sleep, as it would with the day. You know, our caveman ancestors, it's starting to get darker now, and you know, our bodies are designed to start to slow down as the day progresses towards nighttime, so that we can go to sleep, so we can wake up feeling bright-eyed and bushy-tailed when the morning arrives. So, you know, it's about you taking control. It's about making a few choices, and just start with one. If the whole thought of getting healthier and happier is a bit daunting, a bit overwhelming for you, just do one thing. Prioritize, maybe cut out, you know, processed foods, or seriously reduce them. Just do one thing. Take sugars out, stop your cookies. Just take it in baby steps. And then when you've got one thing sorted, then introduce another thing. You will find it will help enormously. But also make sure that the probiotics that help restore the gut, the healthy gut bacteria in your body, are being fed by prebiotics. So you would need to be eating vegetables. If you've got ulcerative colitis and that sort of thing, vegetables, particularly fibrous vegetables, are probably going to be difficult for you. That's going to be a slightly different process. And I would make sure that I was drinking a very green smoothie at least once a day. So juice it. So you've got the fibre out, but you've got the antioxidants and the important vitamins and minerals from the green leafy vegetables and the fruits, but at least you're getting that into your system. If you have got ulcerative colitis or diverticulitis or one of those inflammatory diseases, off the top of my head, I think he's called Dr. David Klein in Hawaii. If you can always message me and I will make sure I give you the right link. He healed his ulcerative colitis. He was ready for a colostomy bag. He was really bad. He healed himself through lifestyle changes. It can be done. You just have to be willing to make those few changes, but it can be done. So do not lose heart. So, a fecal transplant is the extreme. But when your gut health is so important for your mental health, if it's not like you've got to eat, not got to spoon it down your throat. It's fed through a tube through your nose down into your gut, and it repopulates your gut with healthy bacteria. Yes, that is probably, try and avoid getting to that stage. But sometimes you might need to. But there have been enormous, in fact, just as a quick story, it's been tested on mice. Mice who were obese. They gave them a fecal transplant from a mouse that was not obese, and the obese mouse became slim. And they did it vice versa as well. So the slim mouse, they gave a fecal transplant of the mouse that was obese, and that even though the food didn't change, the amount of food they were giving them did not change, the slim mouse then became obese. Your gut flora is incredibly, incredibly important. And it's going to be the difference between whether you feel happy and positive most of the time or whether you struggle on a daily basis. So do prioritize. It's your enteric system. It has they say it's got its own little brain, except for it's not like a brain like our brain in our head. It's the entire thing from mouth through to other end. But that is your enteric nervous system. It's so tightly linked to your brain health and how you feel. So start to eat a bit cleaner, move your body, drink lots of water, and you'll find that you will start to feel a heck of a lot better. So I hope this has been helpful. If you found it helpful, make sure to share it. You might have friends that you've got IBS, they may have ulcerative colitis, they may be struggling with anxiety or depression. So, feel free to share this with people who you think it might help. And if you want those resources, so that's the lecture. It's quite scientific, but it's absolutely incredible. It's very, very informative about gut health and mental health, and also I'm sure it's Dr. David Klein in Hawaii, but if you want me to make sure I send you the link to him, again, get in touch and I will send you the link about him as well. So hope that's helped, and feel free to message me if you need any, if you've got any further questions about this. I'm absolutely obsessed by this this topic because it's something that we can correct, and it's not beyond any of us to be able to correct. It's just a few changes. So catch you soon.